rulers lose kingdoms on a single throw. Seen swordsmen boast loudly, then fall below. Seen merchants buy judges and call it law, but none could hide the things that I saw. They call me lucky, they call me mad. They whisper my name when the nights turn bad. For while most men see only what's ahead, I see the road before it's walked instead. Oh, something's breaking, I can feel it now. The city's singing, but there's danger in the crowd. Oh, something's coming, I can hear the sound. And before this day is over, blood will stain the ground. It was roaring beneath the sun. Children were laughing, the day had begun. But one sharp scream cut through the noise, a cry filled with terror, not tricks nor toys. I turned in an instant and started to run through barrels and alleys away from the sun. And there in the shadows I finally found a family surrounded, their hope beaten down. Steel flashed quickly, the fight was short. The first man fell before drawing his sword. The second hit stone, the third hit a wall. The fourth tried running but stumbled and crawled. My rapier sang sharply, my Toledo blade roared. Their courage disappeared with each man I floored. One by one they fell until none remained. And for one fleeting moment I thought I had won the game. Oh, something's breaking, I can feel it now. The city's singing, but there's danger in the crowd. Oh, something's coming, I can hear the sound. And before this day is over, blood will stain the ground. Then boots echoed loudly from deeper within. A captain arrived with a cold, crooked grin. Behind him more fighters stepped into the light, but it wasn't their numbers that ended the fight. A knife kissed the mother's throat without shame. Another touched the daughter, another the same. The son stood trembling with steel at his neck, and for the first time that day I was held in check. Drop the swords, hero, the captain laughed low. Or they'll die where they're standing and you'll watch the whole show. I lowered my weapons, I swallowed my pride, and the family was dragged into the gathering night. The cartographer wept, then finally spoke of a merchant so wealthy that kingdoms went broke. He wanted the maps that no ruler could buy, hidden roads through the mountains where smugglers could fly, secret paths for his caravans, golden control, every route in the region beneath his command and patrol. Then I understood something I never had known. Some battles are larger than one man alone, and as darkness descended on roof, street and hall, I realized for the first time I could not win this war by myself at all. I had spent my whole life believing that skill could solve any problem. That if I was fast enough, smart enough, determined enough, I could always find a way. Ravenport proved me wrong. I hadn't lost the fight, but I had still failed. That family was still in chains, and the man behind it commanded more wealth, more soldiers, and more influence than any blade could overcome alone. If I wanted to win this war, I would have to find people as extraordinary as the enemy I was about to face. For the first time in my life I left, not out of fear, nor for the steel, nor for the fight, but because a mother and her children were gone, and one man alone could not right that wrong. The cartographer's tears still echoed in my head, while Ravenport, my city, slept in its warm bed of feathers. If I wanted that family back alive, I needed more than swords for this fight. So I searched the roads, I searched the night, the names whispered by firelight, those no king could possess, those no gold could buy, the kind of legends that refuse to die. A shadow crossed the rooftops above the old square. I followed it silently, and there I found Needle, the ghost of Ravenport, the queen of disguise, the only thief who could vanish in plain sight. She struck like a viper, her daggers flashed brightly, we exchanged swift blows in the moonlight. Then I lowered my guard, stopped the fight, and told her the story. And for the first time in her life, she listened. Needle spoke softly, there's a man I know, a hero in Ironford wherever you go. They sing of ages in taverns and halls, when good people need him, he answers the call. We found him at dawn, defending the weak. 3 bandits lay defeated by the village stream. He learned of the family and stood up. If the innocents suffer, then my answer is yes. Aegis just smiled and pointed ahead. I know a mad genius with sparks in his head. He builds impossible things out of smoke and steel, the kind of man who works miracles. Ash was surrounded by gears, fire and steam, turning impossible dreams into audacious inventions. He listened for a moment, then tightened a screw. If a rescue needs to be planned, I'll be there too. Then Ash led us through the streets of Ironford to a scholar whose enemies feared him more than entire fleets. Quill sat with contracts scattered on the floor, uncovering hidden traps in every clause. He read the story and then smiled. The merchant is rich, but wealth does not conquer. For every fortress built on laws and deceit contains the same weakness that can lead to defeat. Then 5 riders set off at dawn, 5 paths now bound by a story never told. A shadow, a hero, an engineer, a pen, and a stubborn swordsman of unyielding will. We return to Ravenport with destiny on our side, to a merchant whose power extended far and wide. And though none of us knew what the future held that night, without realizing it, the greatest legends began. In Ravenport we scattered through the streets, chasing whispers, chasing stories, chasing truths beneath our feet. I spoke with lords and merchants dressed in silk and gold, and every single voice repeated what they'd always been told. A generous man, a patron, a builder, a friend, the sort of man the city trusts without a second thought. But perfect men are often where the darkest secrets hide. The deeper we searched, the darker it grew. One city, 2 faces, and only one was true. I sent agents to the taverns where the common people stayed, sharing drinks beside the workers at the ending of the day. They did not sing his praises, yet they did not curse his name. To most he was a wealthy lord who simply played the game. He buys every business, he always gets his way, but none of them imagined just how deep the roots would lay. For those who knew the surface saw a rich and greedy lord, while something far more dangerous was hidden and ignored. I sent ash and quill to records, deeds and claims, through warehouses and shipping routes and hundreds of company names. Everything was flawless, every ledger balanced right, until a single document refused to fit the light. One warehouse by the harbor, one property concealed, the first loose thread we found inside the empire he had built. The deeper we searched, the darker it grew. One city, two faces, and only one was true. Ice a needle to the places decent folk avoid, through smugglers, spies, and black markets hidden in the void. My shadow moved through Ravenport, where secrets gathered dust, and every door she opened led to stories wrapped in rust. First came the offer, then came the threat, then came the warning, then came regret. And when brave souls sought justice, their voices vanished too. Not rumors, not legends, names, dates and bodies proved it true. Lord Mercier smiled gently, always dressed in noble grace, silver tongue and polished manners, never anger on his face. He donated gold to orphanages, he funded roads and schools, he dined beside the governors, he educated fools. He never raised a weapon, he never dirtied hands, yet half the underworld feared him more than armies in the lands. Because monsters hiding in the daylight are harder still to see. The maps were never really about mountains, roads, or trade. The maps would give him power over every route ever made. Smuggling, taxes, caravans, armies, every hidden trail, every secret crossing, every path beyond the pale. The family wasn't personal, the family was a key. One move upon a board that only I could finally see. That night we met together while the harbor fires burned bright. Every clue upon the table, every fact brought into light. The merchant was no merchant, the noble was no lord. He was a spider at the center of a kingdom-sized web of cords. And staring at the evidence, I finally understood. We were not hunting one criminal, we were preparing for a war.
We found the warehouse where the harbor bends, where honest roads and black ships meet as friends. Needle saw the mother through a broken seam, two children sleeping in a lantern's beam. No chains too loud, no screams allowed, just guards at every door. And on the upper floor, the captain watched the shore. Measure the wall, count every flame, every lock, every guard, every name. Not yet the fight, not yet the fall. Tonight we build a plan that breaks them all. I climbed the roofs and watched the streets below. Saw patrols turn twice where no patrol should go. 3 exits open, but only one was clean, and every other path was bait between. The captain trusted steel, Mercier trusted gold, but every fortress has a rhythm if you listen to it long enough. Needle marked the shadows where the moonlight died, every loose tile, every latch, every place to hide. Her children counted footsteps from the quay, while her spies named every guard who took his pay. The black market whispered, goods leave at dawn. So dawn became the hour before the family would be gone. Measure the walls, count every flame, every lock, every guard, every name. Not yet the fight, not yet the fall. Tonight we build a plan that breaks them all. Ages when drinking where the dock men speak, where strong hands gather at the end of the week. He learned which gods were cowards, which were cruel, which captain loved command, which fool could be fooled. He brought back names, he brought back scars, he brought the sound of truth from beneath the tavern stars. Ash built a miracle from wire, smoke and spring, a silent climbing rig and a false bell ring. A clockwork raven to scream from the west, while smoke from the east would empty the nest. 1 pull for the roof, 2 sparks for the door, 3 knocks meant danger, 4 meant war. Quill forged no lie, but sharpened every word. A royal inspection seal the harbor clerks had heard. Papers clean enough to pass a sleepy eye. Orders dressed so well they could walk straight by. If law guards his empire, Quill smiled at me, then law shall be the mask that lets us turn the key. So we laid plan A beneath the candlelight. Quill walks through the front at the changing of night. Ash cuts the locks while Needle clears the way. Aegis holds the line if Steel joins the play. And plan B waited, quiet as a blade. If all doors burn, we leave through the harbor shade. By sunrise tomorrow, before the church bells call, we take back the family, or we take down the wall.
The harbor clock struck 6 as the gate swung open wide. Quill walked through the front alone with law upon his side. 1 seal, 1 signature, 1 perfectly placed lie, while every guard stood watching papers instead of watching spies. Above them Needle moved unseen across the wooden beams, while Ash prepared his gadgets exactly as we dreamed. Aegis took position where the crossroads met the quay, and I stepped through the shadows where I knew I'd need to be. Move, 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 every second counts. Move, 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 before the alarm sounds. Fast hands, sharp minds, everything in place. 5 pounds. floor and opened every lock, mapping every corridor and every hidden dock. Her children in the city track patrols from street to street, feeding us the changes before the guards could even meet. A whisper from a rooftop, a signal from below. The ghost of Ravenport made the whole operation flow. Ash unleashed his masterwork exactly on the mark. A clockwork raven screaming from the far side of the dock. Smoke rolled through the warehouse yard exactly as designed, and half the guards abandoned all the posts they should have mined. One gadget bought a minute, 1 minute bought us 3 minutes bought the family the chance to break free. Quill held the front entrance while captains checked his seal, burying them in questions that sounded far too real. Every answer bought us time, every document delayed, every argument he started kept suspicion far away. A sword can stop a soldier, a contract stops a line, and Quill was fighting battles with nothing more than ink and time. Ages held the crossing where the warehouse met the street. Every fleeing guard discovered he was impossible to beat. He wasn't there for glory, he wasn't there for fame. He was there to hold the door while the rest of us played the game. One against many, still standing tall, the wall that kept the enemy away from us all. I found the family hidden in a chamber near the bay. The mother, son, and daughter still alive but worn away. Needle cleared the pathway, Ash broke the final chain, and together we moved quickly through the chaos and the flame. Every piece connected, every role was true. No hero wins alone, not this one. Not this crew! Was getting thicker as we vanished toward the tide. Quill escaped the front gate while ages guarded our side. Ash recovered every tool, Needle covered every track, and before the captain noticed, we were already gone. No mistakes, no failures, no desperate last stand. Just 5 specialists executing exactly as planned. We brought them home at dawn, the children laughed, the fear dissipated. The cartographer fell to his knees, embracing his family in despair. For a brief moment all was well, the storm had passed, the end was near. Then the horses arrived, then the steel appeared, then every smile vanished. Oh no! Looks like someone lost the game. What a shame! Too late! You should have checked the board, my friend. Lord Mercier made his way through the crowd, clapping slowly, smug and proud. His captain smiled, his personal guard spread out, with sharp swords pointed at each head. You've done the hardest part. Thanks, friend. Now hand over the maps and we'll call it a day. All his men laughed, all his men smiled. His men thought they had won by a landslide. I couldn't help but smile back. That made him hesitate, that made him stop, that made him wonder what he had forgotten. Do you still think this was about the maps? The room fell silent, the crowd quieted down. Even their captain looked confused. Oh no, what a shame. Looks like someone lost the game. What a pity, too late. You should have checked the board, mate. A witness arrived, then 10 more arrived, then 20 more came out from outside. Dock workers, merchants, families, names I'd buried for years. Then came the mothers, then came the children, then came the people I thought were gone. And every face held a story, and every story bore his name. Feather open ledgers, ash open boxes, needle revealed dates, places and names. Ages brought witnesses brave enough to come forward. Every piece fell into place, just as planned. A warehouse, a captain, a network, a chain, an empire built on profit and pain. And suddenly everyone saw it too. The nobles fell back, the merchants fled, the city guard shifted positions. The captain finally lowered his sword, his confidence vanished with terrifying swiftness. Lord Mercier screamed, Lord Mercier lied, Lord Mercier threatened, Lord Mercier tried. But the truth moves faster than gold can hide it. Then the iron closed around his wrists. No army arrived. There was no ransom, no secret friend, no hidden door, no empire waited. The family was reunited once more. The city witnessed the end. And as they dragged him through the square, I tipped my hat and smiled. You really should have stayed in the shadows. Lord Mercier was stripped of his titles, his fortune seized, and his name forever stained. The city finally learned the truth hidden behind years of wealth and smiles. For a brief moment, Ravenport knew peace again. But peace has a curious way of attracting hope. Within days, letters began arriving from every corner of the realm. Some begged for justice. Others asked for help. A few carried stories no one else dared believe. Without ever planning it, 5 strangers had become something far greater than themselves. And this was only the beginning. 3 days later, Ravenport was still calling us. Every tavern, every port, every market was doing the same. Letters covered the cartographer's door from wall to wall, each telling tales of another desperate plea. A stolen relic, a missing son, a farmer crushed by a rich man. And for the first time we all realized Mercier wasn't the only problem. Hey! Hey! Raise your glasses and pass them around. Hey! There's trouble in every town. Hey! Listen to the people's cry if a Stormwolf answers. Soon the pack will rise victorious. And tossed a letter onto the oak table. Looks like half the city's problems mistake us for heroes. Aegis grinned and raised his tankard. I've seen worse jobs than this. Meanwhile, Ash was already sketching things no one else could see, and Quill was reading 3 complaints. As he finished his best whiskey, none of them seemed willing to part ways. The cartographer tried to thank us, offering a silver land and gold, but none of us had come for that, and none of us were bought or sold. The mother smiled, the children waved, the family was finally free, and somehow that was worth more than any treasure. Soon the pack will rise victorious. Hey! That night the music echoed in every tavern, and each version of the story grew a little more exaggerated. At midnight there were 10 of us, at dawn 23. By breakfast we had apparently fought a dragon at sea. Needle was nearly choking with laughter, Aegis was laughing the loudest, and frankly the dragon story wasn't the strangest rumor. Then someone in a corner asked, "What do they call your crew?" 5 faces turned at once. The room fell into a deathly silence. There was no immediate response. No grandiloquent speech filled the air until I raised my mug and pointed from my chair. Stormwolves! The whole room resounded. Stormwolves! A second voice answered. Stormwolves! The harbor joined in. Stormwolves! The tavern roared. 5 strangers looked around. 5 roads converged now, and for the first time we all realized what we had become. Let's drink to the roads yet to be traveled, to the battles yet to be fought, to the tyrants yet to be overthrown, to the secrets yet to be kept hidden, for every soul that needs a hand when hope falters. Because somewhere beyond these walls another story will begin. And if injustice calls again, if darkness begins to rise, the Stormwolves will be waiting, and we'll see you on the next journey.